on Casino Royale with cheese.
Kathleen Quinlan, who I'm not all that familiar with the work, but when I was watching this movie, I was like, I know I've seen that one before. She was Jim Lovell's wife on Apollo 13.
Is she the one who works in the office with them all?
No, she was the one who
Oh, the complainer.
Yeah,
the complainer.
The
plaintiff.
Her son died. Jeez, this bitch won't shut up. You know?
No plaintiff.
Right. What's the cause of leukemia? I don't know, because I hear about...
Did you just ask me what the cause of leukemia is?
I always hear about childhood leukemia, and it seems pretty deadly. Like skin cancer. Yeah, I mean, it might kill you, but you'll be all right. Like breast cancer. Take off a boob. You'll be fine, you know. That sort of thing. Prostate cancer, we'll just pull some chunks off of that. You're good to go. But, like, this leukemia thing seems like it's pretty formidable, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't want my kid to have any of the things you just named.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, she probably won't get prostate cancer, I'm guessing.
Hope not.
Something in the water, if that's the case. You mean my daughter's growing a prostate and it has cancer? That's a problem.
Well, she was married to Ben Affleck for a while.
Yeah, that'll fuck anybody up.
Yeah. Ask J-Lo about it.
Right. She was with Mark Anthony for crying out fucking loud.
Yeah. Now she's getting destroyed by A-Rod.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I think about what sex between Jennifer Lopez and A-Rod must be like.
I don't know.
Like explosive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, out of control.
You think it's like competitive?
A lot of fluids.
Competitive fucking?
I can see that.
Like trying to see who can fuck who harder?
Everybody wins.
Yeah, they are both winning. That's for sure.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent Green is people!
Yo, Adrian! Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Well, you son of a bitch, I'll fix you.
Live from our studios in Boca Raton, Florida, it's Casino Royale with Cheese, starring your host, who smells like varmint poo-tang. It's Shane Burns.
Thank you, everybody. This is Shane, and this is Casino Royale with Cheese that you are listening to, the internet show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. As we mentioned, my name is Shane. Today I'm joined by the one man who didn't sleep with Lacey Underall. This is Mike.
Damn it.
Totally would have, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's hot. She's a good-looking gal. But
My wife was like, does she fuck everybody in this movie?
pretty much.
No, actually, only two people.
Yeah, she never, got down with Rodney Dangerfield or anything like that, so...
Unfortunately, because that was the scene I was waiting for.
I really don't want to see Rodney Dangerfield's ass bobbing up and down on the camera.
Oh, that's... Ooh. Yes.
That's rough. If his face is that bad, I'm sure his ass is no picnic, bro. But,
Why are we talking about this?
I have no idea. We started off this on a bad foot, man.
No, we're talking about this because of this week's movie.
That is true. Why don't you elaborate, Mike?
So, as we said at the end of our last episode, we had our very first fan request for a movie. And it was a movie that I was not mad to get a request for, so we went with it, and we did Caddyshack this week.
Yeah, Caddyshack. It's a good movie. I assume you've seen this movie before?
I must have seen this at least a half a dozen times when I was a kid.
Right? Maybe
there was
1,000.
a boob.
Yeah.
There was a couple boobs in it, and when I was a child, that's all I needed.
Allow me to rephrase. There were a couple sets of boobs in this movie. So
True.
yeah,
2 to be exact.
I'll take it, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff. How's it going today, man?
Pretty chill. I'm on a 4-day weekend because of the Martin Luther King holiday.
Yep.
So we have done a whole lot of nothing pretty much this weekend.
Yeah.
And trying to get this record session before the AFC and NFC championship games play.
Oh, there you go. The old foosball. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Rams, Saints, Patriots, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Both
All
have
right.
played each other before. This season they've played each other, and both games were shootouts.
Man, I got a bunch of friends of mine because I lived in the Kansas City suburbs back in the day, as I think I mentioned on here.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends on Facebook are just all about the Chiefs, man. It's crazy. Like, you hear them talk about it. It's funny because toward the beginning of the season, there will be like a couple murmurs, but if the Chiefs are doing well, these guys will become more and more vocal as the season proceeds, you know? It's pretty hilarious.
Well, I think Chiefs fans have had their heart broken so many times.
Oh, they have.
They've gone to the playoffs a lot, and they lose that first game almost every time. So
Oh, yeah.
the fact that they have a contender, like a real legit contender this year,
Right.
and they have a quarterback that we've never seen anything like it in the NFL, so they're really excited about him.
With good reason. So I hope they do well. Here's hoping. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I went to school with a kid who, and his dad confirmed this, so I assume that it's true, but his grandpa was the coach whenever the Chiefs, they were in like Super Bowl I, you know. And so,
They won Super Bowl IV, I think, was their last Super Bowl they won.
yeah, well, they were in both. They lost the first one, and then Super Bowl IV, they won it. So it's pretty crazy, yeah. But that's cool. Good stuff. You'll have to excuse me, give me some allowances, because I had not to go into too much detail, but a medical procedure done, and I am on pain pills right now.
You had a
So-
vasectomy, Shane. It's okay.
Yeah, I try not to discuss my balls to the entire internet, but, you know,
You love
whatever.
to talk about your balls. What are you talking about?
I like talking about everybody else's balls, Mike.
Oh.
Thank you very much. But
You'd rather talk about Rodney Dangerfield's balls than your own?
No, I'd rather talk about his ass. I'll tell you that. So crazy thing happened. You know, we were talking about how my wife had a birthday party. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those deals where, you know, kids show up at our house, whatever. They're like, hey, can you go play video games? Yeah, go knock yourself out. Have fun, you know, whatever. And I don't know if you caught everything that had happened, Mike, but it looked as though, like, my Nintendo 64, whenever I got up there to clean up the following day, had been, like, kicked off to the side. And I don't know if maybe they were playing tag, it got stepped on. I don't know what all happened, but the thing was looking rough, man. It wouldn't work at all. So
They broke it?
It's not working, so, you know,
If I had to look at two suspects for that, I would look at our own daughters.
Yeah, I haven't got the DNA results back yet, but it's looking like it, so.
If any of the kids that were there, because I remember this night, if any of the kids that were there are wild and crazy, it's Madeline and Farrah.
Oh, Madeline's insane. She is not well, man. But
Farrah's pretty crazy too. So
yeah. But
we might
I
have to
ordered
go halves on us. You did?
Yeah, I got a new one, so
How much did that bad boy cost you?
only like $60. So
Is it red?
now it's the old gray one, unfortunately.
Farrah was
one-
very impressed with the red one.
Yeah, I like that one too. But she may have seen her day in the sun, so that's all right.
Speaking of that night with the video games, that was the first time like Farrah actually sat down and like played video games.
Oh, really?
She
Oh,
was playing
yeah.
Injustice.
Right, you're talking about getting a fighting game.
So we are now the proud owners of Injustice 2 Legendary Edition.
Oh, I don't even have that edition, so.
I got it used.
Yep.
10 extra characters to include the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, really?
Yep. Sub-Zero's in it.
Oh, hell yeah. That's all you need, man.
Worth the purchase.
Oh, totally. Totes.
We played it one night for about an hour, and she hasn't asked since. So
That's pretty funny.
yeah.
But, this movie, getting back on topic here, I have seen it several times. It's been a while since I watched it last, though, man. I don't even care to guess. Probably at least going on 10 years. So it's been a long time going into. I remember all the major gags in this movie, some of those iconic scenes, but I didn't remember a lot of the in between stuff. So, you know.
I don't remember the main character of this movie.
This movie has a lot of main characters, man.
Well, there's one guy.
Right, yeah. Danny Noonan, the caddy. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's about him, kind of. But I forgot he was even in this movie.
Right.
Out of all the gags and stuff, I remember like 2 things. That's how
really?
long ago I saw this movie, yeah.
Oh, wow. So you haven't seen it since you were a kid, I guess, huh?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a while. It's like 60 years. So.
Something like that.
I actually did mention that he kind of has the whole crux of the narrative in this movie in my summary. If you'd like, I can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Well, there's no better time than now.
I don't see one. I will say that this one is not all that terribly witty. Because if you're trying to outwit Caddyshack, you're probably gonna fucking lose. So, but
So did you go deep on us here?
Not terribly, no.
Okay.
No.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I will get it started then. Caddyshack, released July 25th, 1980, is an amalgamation of various comedic actors doing their various comedic things in this star-studded sports comedy. The film centralizes around the day-to-day hijinks of Danny Noonan, a Bushwood Country Club caddy who aspires to go to college, but doesn't have the means of doing so. His aspirations soon seem to be realized as he befriends Judge Elihu Smales, a co-founder of the country club who is in charge of the caddy scholarship program. Judge Smales, however, has problems of his own as an outspoken, obnoxious club newcomer emerges in the form of Rodney Dangerfield's Al Cervic. Meanwhile, the club also finds itself in danger as it seems to be encountering a catastrophic gopher infestation, which groundskeeper Carl Spackler is tasked with eliminating. Both Danny and club regular Ty Webb soon become enamored by the judge's promiscuous niece, which she finds herself happy to share her affection with both men, but not at the same time. After the destruction of his new yacht at the hand of Cervic, Judge Smales hurries home to find Danny and his niece in each other's embrace. Later, Danny is surprised to find that his employee at the club has not been terminated, but instead the judge only requests his discretion regarding his niece. To explain the plot of the film would simply do it no justice, as the film simply is a series of ongoing comedic sketches. If the film were to have one narrative thread to unravel, however, it would be that of Cervic and Smales' distaste for each other. The film resolves itself after a verbal altercation between the two, and they decide that a team golf match is in order. Ty allies himself with Cervic as Judge Smales teams up with club regular Dr. Bieber. Against club rules, they decide to wager $20,000 on the game, but Ty later doubles the wager. Cervic and Ty are losing the match badly, but after Cervic feigns an injury, Danny is called in to substitute. The whole film culminates with a wager of $80,000 that Danny won't make the final putt of the match, which he barely misses. At that time, however, Carl Spackler ignites various plastic explosives he laid around the golf course in an effort to eliminate the gopher. The shockwave knocks Danny's ball into the hole, and everybody but the stupid judge lives happily ever after. Until the sequel. This film stars Herman Bloom and Fred.
It is really hard. I mean, in order for you to summarize that one, you would have, basically had to just walk through a bunch of the skits.
Yeah, go through every scene and tell every joke, yeah.
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's always a bit of culture shock because I am a huge fan of the Roseanne sitcom from the late 80s, early 90s. And so this dude, Fred, he was Fred in Roseanne. Later he married Jackie, but the Danny Noonan character, it's kind of weird seeing him in other stuff, man. I ain't gonna lie. But,
I had that feeling this morning when I was watching Angels in the Outfield and saw What's his sexy ass dude's
Joseph
name?
Gordon-Levitt.
No, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah, he's in that. That movie has a bunch of people, man.
Yeah, Tony Danza's the pitcher. Bullshit.
Tony Danza is the pitcher. I think he looks like he could be a pitcher.
No, way too short.
You think so?
Yeah, pitchers are tall motherfuckers.
Adrian Brody is in that movie. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in it.
Yeah.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a little boy, so.
He is. Little bitty feller. But, yeah, I actually like that movie. I don't know. It's kind of overlooked, but I enjoy it. So, I'm a sucker for Christopher Lloyd, though. So,
True.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's the guy who manages the Caddyshack?
Okay. I wasn't going to bring it up until now, but believe it or not, that is Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray.
Really?
Yeah. He was way skinnier back then, and his hair wasn't great.
I've seen him in other things, right?
Yeah, he was the one that announced what the Groundhog's final decision was in Groundhog Day, all that shit. If you remember back to, there's an episode of Seinfeld that he was on, where he was the dad of the Bubble Boy, if you will. He shows up a lot in Bill Murray's movies. This one not being an exception, but
Get that brotherly love.
yeah. But so he's pretty great. I will say what's crazy is apparently he has a long-running legacy with this film franchise because he actually was one of the writers for the second one. So,
Which
be
I've never
that
seen.
as it may. There's always that running joke of what's the best golf movie ever made is Caddyshack. The worst one is Caddyshack 2. So, you might also recognize him. He was the Clark Griswold's boss in Christmas Vacation.
That's where I'm getting him from.
Yeah. So.
That's what I'm seeing him as.
Mm-hmm. So I guess he pairs back up with Chevy Chase. But
Nice.
it's interesting. I tend to think that these guys have got to be pretty big golf fans because they did a TV show. It was Bill and Brian Doyle, and they have another younger brother who he shows up, but he's not as prominent as Bill Murray, obviously, or Brian Doyle. But it was called The Sweet Spot back on Comedy Central. And this was back in the early 2000s. But
Never saw it.
Yeah, it was all about, basically it was a golfing thing, but it wasn't through the eyes of the caddy or anything. However, it was just a sketch comedy show from what I could tell. So, yeah, whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him because he's a lot skinnier and his has color to it, But I recognize the voice,
Right.
So, yeah.
That fucking gopher, though, huh?
Oh man, that's
Me
probably,
every time.
That's my favorite gag in the movie. And I actually wrote down on my notes that I'm surprised that Carl Spackler and the Gopher didn't get a cartoon animated spin-off back in the day because they did that a lot with movies, and I would think that would be rife with opportunity, for a cartoon, but never
that
happened.
Fucking gopher.
He's hilarious. I love it.
Wait, his dance moves amazing.
Oh yeah, he's rocking out to Kenny Loggins. Fucking awesome.
It's all right.
This movie was directed by Harold Ramis. I'm sure you recognize that name. Mm-hmm. He went on to do Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2 and Groundhog Day and all that stuff. It, of course, features quite a bit of a cast to it, although the cast seems a lot bigger than it actually ended up being once you watch the movie. It seemed like to me anyway, because I went into this thinking that everybody was in it, but there's only maybe half a dozen or so really big names in it.
Right.
But
And there's only a half a dozen or so characters that they even pay attention to.
right. Well, the guy that he was out there, the old man that was shooting his best golf game ever.
A Catholic priest.
Yeah. I didn't happen to get his name just because he's not in very many scenes. And finally, after looking for a while, I was like, fuck this, you know? But, so the movie features Chevy Chase as Ty Webb.
Awesome.
We got Rodney Dangerfield as Al Cervix. Not really
Awesome.
Al Cervic, but yeah. Ted Knight plays Judge Elihu Smales. That
Awesome.
is a white boy, like, upper crust name, Elihu Smales. But we got Michael O'Keefe plays Danny Noonan. Bill Murray plays Carl Speckler. Sarah Holcomb, her character's name cracks me up, but it's Maggie O'Hooligan. And then we got, Cindy Morgan as Lacey Underall, and then we got, more people as it goes down the list. But that's your major players in this movie,
She, she was in Animal House.
Lacey.
Sarah Holcomb, Maggie O'Hooligan.
Oh, was she?
Yep.
She's got an awesome picture on IMDb where she's wearing nothing but her undergarments. So
That's from Animal House.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Animal House in a long time either, man. But,
Neither have I.
yeah, good stuff. I will say, so one person that I often overlook in this movie is Ted Knight. Just because he's supposed to be like the straight lace guy or whatever. But I've got to say, for him to be as white bread and as dorky as he is, and like so pleased with himself at how dorky he is, that dude's fucking hilarious in this movie to watch,
If you just watch him for his acting, he's really good at it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. One of my favorite scenes, because I was sitting there watching him, not really even paying attention to Ted, not all that much. And then they get to the part where they christen his yacht, and he tells like this really stupid poem on his yacht. Mm-hmm. And I was just watching it going, what a fucking dork. Like, this guy's great at that, Just playing it off. Yeah.
Even his laugh is pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. He is so proud of himself that he told this fucking joke, I love it. So let's take a look at numbers real quick.
Oh, shit.
That
Okay.
sounds like a plan to me.
Was this movie ever number one?
You know what's funny? I didn't happen to look at that. So let's figure it out. I know that it was quite a success at the box office. Let's go over the budget first of all while I scour through some old internet goodness here. It was made on a budget of $6 million.
Dude, that is fantastic, considering there's yachts and shit in this movie.
Oh, yeah. And they destroy one of them, So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good.
And there's jet skis everywhere and power boats.
Well, just filming at a golf course can't be cheap,
That was a real golf course, too.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
They filmed at a real country club.
Yeah. It looks as though... Oh, okay. What would you guess as far as how many weeks it was number one?
So it was a number one movie.
Okay, that was a trick question. No, it never, from what I can tell, hit number one. It opened at number two. But it's really weird, though, because I get all of my movie numbers info off of Box Office Mojo on the old interweb. But the further you go back with these movies, like if you go and try to look, like I was checking out on there to see what the original Planet of the Apes, how it did at the box office. And the further you go back, the less detail they go into as far as the numbers go. Mm. So this one, it opened in 1980, and like July of 1980. And so it says that it opened at number two, but it doesn't list any other weeks after that. So I don't really know how well it did.
It's funny how inflation has affected Hollywood so much.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
I mean, we're talking about a movie in 1980 they made for $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've talked about movies they made in 98 that were like $140 million.
Right. And now that seems like a small budget almost,
$140 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't shit.
Well, I remember back in 2009 how the movie District 9 came out, and it was made on a budget of like $30 million. And to me, that seems like not much money at all, for a movie.
Well, it was an indie film.
It was, yeah. Like Peter Jackson funded it out of his pocket, pretty much. So
Movie came out 10 years ago already? That's fucking crazy.
I feel old as hell.
You telling me?
Any guesses as to how well it did overall in the U.S. box office wise?
60 million.
No, you are wrong. You're way off. Got to get it back together, buddy. 39,846,344. So it's not a box office, juggernaut or anything, but it's gone on to have quite a legacy of its own, really, So I need to quit saying, that's really starting to become a thing. Yeah, let's talk about this movie.
Okay.
First off, I wanted to say Orion Pictures is back. Always makes me super happy when they show up.
I noticed, like, in the opening credits, is this produced by, like, the Saturday Night Live crew?
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, because you would think that, what's his name? The Saturday Night Live guy would have a hand in it then.
The only reason I asked is because the opening of this and the opening of Happy Gilmore looked very similar.
They do indeed.
Even the font type used.
I can see that. I'm having trouble remembering Happy Gilmore's opening though.
So I'm wondering if if Adam Sandler did Happy Gilmore as almost a homage to Caddyshack.
So I was thinking that earlier. I was thinking, ultimately I think Caddyshack's funnier, but the two, the Happy Gilmore borrows from this one at least a little bit, I would say. Lorne Michaels, that's the fella's name that created Saturday Night Live. Let's see here. Yeah. Let me see if he shows up on this thing at all. Because you would think he would be like a producer or something, but maybe not. What I do think is interesting is this was really Rodney Dangerfield's like big movie coming out of the gate. He'd been in a couple things before this, but this was pretty much the extent of it to that point,
Really?
Yeah. This was where he came alive, man.
Do you know anything about Rodney Dangerfield?
I was looking at him a little bit. I remember the movie Back to School that he was in.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amusing. Apparently, I guess he died at the age of 82. He was married 3 times. So there's that. He was married to his last wife for 11 years before he died. Prior to Caddyshack, he had only been in, let's see, there was he did an uncredited role in a TV, or in a movie in 1956 called The Killing. He had a couple bit parts on like a couple nothing TV shows. He was in a movie in 1970 called The Projectionist, and then it wasn't until 1980 that he played Al Cervic. And then, of course, he went on to be in a movie called Easy Money. I've never seen it. But then he did Back to School and Moving and Rover Dangerfield, if you've ever seen that.
No.
So,
okay,
yeah.
The reason I asked if
Okay.
you knew anything about him was because he was a stand-up comedian when he was a young man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And he wasn't making shit for money.
Right.
So he retired from stand-up, and he went into selling aluminum siding.
Really?
And he did that for 20 years until he retired from the aluminum siding sales business.
I kind of
And then picked up stand-up again.
Yeah.
Which
What's
is, like, unheard of.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing, I want to say I remember seeing, like, clips of him on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember, I don't think I've seen anything stand-up wise earlier than that from him. So, but
Okay.
yeah, no, I think that's cool though, and I know that there's a lot of comedians that have said like making it big in the comedy industry is the hardest thing that you'll ever do, you know. Freaking depending upon, you know, your sense of humor, Dane Cook, the comedian, will say, he's actually come out and said that he would rather go through medical school than try to make it in comedy again. So,
Do you know what he's known for in the comedy community?
stealing jokes.
No, being a hot comic,
Oh, okay. There you
like
go.
being attractive.
Right.
When comedians talk about Dan Cook, they actually don't talk badly about him, but they say that he was one of the first where like the girls wanted to go see him too.
Oh, I got you. I just remember there was something about him stealing jokes from Louis C.K. or some shit like that.
That was even on his show,
Yeah, I've heard that.
on Louis' show. Yeah. Like he confronted him about it on the show.
Right. Yeah, I heard about that. And I guess there's no bad blood, between the two anymore. They kind of hashed it out, so it's cool. Whatever. I wrote down, what is there possibly to say about this movie? You know,
It's funny.
what can you say? Yeah, it's funny. You know, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's hilarious.
Rodney Dangerfield is hilarious. He's a hilarious over the top asshole.
Oh yeah.
That Judge Smelt is a hilarious over the top wasp asshole.
He is. I love it.
They even named their yacht at the christening the Wasp,
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's funny.
which we covered before is white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Right. During our Ants episode.
Yes.
Why that should come up in a kids movie, I don't know, but whatever.
Bill Murray is fucking fantastic.
I wrote down Bill Murray and Rodney Dangerfield make this movie. To me,
They
those
do.
are the two standout performances. What's crazy
Chevy
is,
Chase's character confuses the shit out of me.
see, I wrote that down because I don't get it, dude. I think that Chevy Chase even has some funny moments in this movie, especially when he's trying to get down with Lacey. But it's weird, though, because I don't know if his character actually has money or doesn't have money. Because you see, like, he has this pimp-ass pad, that he lives in. And but it's, like, filled with pizza boxes and shit. And, like, he's, like, trying to fake out that he bought this Perrier water for this girl, and all this other shit. Like, it's really strange, man.
Well, the scene you're talking about, she even picks up, like, an uncashed $70,000 check. And she says there's a whole bunch of them on the table.
Yeah.
And he's like, take them.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. And we get toward the end of the movie because they established pretty early on that this guy's supposed to be one hell of a golfer,
Yeah, he never keeps score.
Right. Never plays with anybody. He just goes out there to practice, I guess. He enjoys it. But at the end of the movie, we see him and he fucking sucks, I don't know.
He closes his hand in a car door.
That's what it was. That must have been it. Yeah. I didn't think anything about it, but yeah, that makes sense.
But without Chevy Chase in this movie, we would have got Be the Ball and no.
No. Yeah. It's pretty funny. Let's go back to the gopher for a minute. One thing, it was a pretty funny sight gag. Toward the beginning of the movie, we see this gopher, and he's just assing this golf course, And just leaving trails everywhere. And I thought it was, oh, yeah. And we see the Scottish guy. He looks over, and, it was Ted Knight. And he's like, what the hell? He, like, hops out of his car, and he looks, and you see this golf flag, like, stick up out of the ground, and it just falls below the ground. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
that gopher's hauling ass, dude. Oh, my God. That's funny.
Which means it fell at like 10 feet.
Right. Exactly. You're a bit of a golfer, we'll say.
No.
I've heard of you playing golf before.
I own golf clubs, and I have swung them at balls before.
That's pretty funny.
I'm fucking garbage.
I, on the other hand, have never actually played golf. The only time I even came close was I went out to a driving range at one point, and I was okay. But think I wound up hitting a golf ball like 300 yards or something.
I'm happy that I'm not single for many reasons. Because I think about things like, what would I do if I was single again? Right? Like,
Yeah.
Dating would be definitely a hard part of it. And there's some things on a list that I could never do on a date with a girl. One is golfing.
Oh, yeah, no. I'd take her putt-putt, like mini golf.
Bowling being the other one.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm garbage. We went and bowled for the first time. With Farrah, like, not the first time, but we went and bowled recently on Friday night.
Right.
And I bowled a 160.
Oh.
And I think that's my highest I've ever bowled.
It's probably better than mine. So I can't talk to that. Here's the move for all of you single fellas out there. If your lady wants to go bowling, what you do is you show up at the bowling alley, pick a place that serves alcohol, and then do like 3 shots before you bowl. So then if you fucking suck, be like, man, that went straight to my head. That's all you gotta do.
But now she thinks you're a lightweight.
Yeah. But that would be my advice to you fellas. Or just don't go golfing. So
Or bowling.
tell her you want to go shopping. She's always down for that. So
Now she thinks you like men.
did you know the I'm Alright song was like I couldn't get the official word on it, but it did come out in 1980. I almost want to say it was made for this movie, but I'm not sure on that.
So just like Danger Zone.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Danger Zone's a way better song, or Highway to the Danger Zone, but yeah, pretty good stuff.
No, it's funny because when I asked Nicole if she wanted to watch this with me, and she doesn't look at IMDb, she goes to Google reviews.
Right.
And she looks at what, like, Google users. So like Rotten Tomatoes can give a movie like 35%, but
Sure.
if the Google review user says it averages like 88%, she'll watch it.
Cool. Yep.
So,
She watched a lot of garbage thinking it would be awesome.
but so she immediately Googled this movie. I guess she had never seen it or even heard of it.
Right.
And she's like, "Why are you guys watching this piece of shit movie?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "It's about a guy and a gopher. This looks so lame." And I'm like, the gopher isn't like the main part of the movie. I mean, he's
Right.
in the movie, but he's not the main part of the movie. And then the movie opens with him hauling ass through the golf course, tearing it up. And she's like, he's the opening thing.
No, this whole movie is just a series of subplots, You can't really hammer down one individual storyline, I don't think.
I can give you one consistency with this film.
Yeah.
A lot of racist jokes.
I only picked out a couple, and that's whenever the guy that's supposed to be like buffing his shoes is like, I'll show you, motherfucker, whatever.
Yeah.
What's some of the other stuff? I didn't notice it.
Rodney Dangerfield brought in his friend, the Asian man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He's walking around taking pictures of everything.
Right. There's a parking lot, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he
racist.
says, "This, don't tell him you're a Jew." He tells the Asian dude, "Don't tell me you're a Jew. The cloud doesn't allow them." But I'm pretty sure Dangerfield is Jewish.
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know. There was some other stuff too, but it's just stuff that you couldn't get away with today.
Yeah, no, you really couldn't. I would be tempted to go through and this is changing way off topic here, but I would be tempted to watch Caddyshack 2 for this show. Honestly, I'd be tempted. You can't control me, Mike. I'm not afraid of you. Do you remember? So let's talk about Rodney Dangerfield's golf bag for a minute.
Oh, it's awesome.
There's a lot going on there, man.
It's fucking huge, first of all.
It's very big. He's got a radio and a TV built into it.
And club ejectors.
It looked like he had a beer tap in it at one point.
He did.
Yeah. I was wondering, I thought it was kind of strange because something like that nowadays you could get by with putting a TV, some kind of LED screen or whatever on there. But I thought that it seemed kind of weird that there wouldn't be any battery or anything to back this up unless he has a car battery stashed in there somewhere, you know?
He may. It's a heavy bag.
It is a heavy bag. Dude, if that big-ass bag had a car battery at the bottom of it, and keep in mind, I'm not the strongest dude ever, but at this point, I would be like, fuck that bag, dude. Because that thing had to weigh a ton, man.
Well, the smallest caddy, like, picked it up.
Yeah, he did.
She wasn't able to carry it very far.
He had a phone on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was weird, because this is way before, like, cordless phones or anything, you know. But I was more so thinking of some of the different contraptions that he had on there. And I want to say that kind of reminded me, do you remember seeing infomercials for this thing called the Potty Putty?
I know what you're talking about.
It looks like a golf club, but I guess it unscrews so you can take a piss in it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Everything I've ever thought about that putty was I would use it one time.
Yeah.
And I would throw the whole fucking thing in the trash.
Oh, yeah. I'm not rinsing it out, you know.
No.
In fact, I would probably have a golf club filled with urine somewhere, and I would forget about it, knowing me. So,
I love how there was like a golf towel that like you put around your waist or something, so people couldn't see you pissing into the putter.
Yeah. Wonder what he's doing over there.
If I ever see someone on the golf course using that, and be like, "Hey, everybody, look, he's pissing into that golf club.
He's taking a piss." Yeah, it's true, man.
I'm calling him out immediately. Can we talk about my favorite scene from this movie?
Wait, let me guess it. Let me guess what it is. Are we talking about the Baby Ruth in the pool?
Yeah, we're talking about the caddy day at the pool, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, I love that they're like, caddies welcome in the pool from 1 to 1:15.
1 to 1:15.
Okay, proceed.
Oh, you kind of stole my thunder, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That shit cracked me up, though. And it's funny because, you got
that's something I didn't notice as a kid.
Oh, yeah, no. I just thought they were jumping in a pool, man.
Right. But it was caddy day for 15 minutes, and these people went hog shit crazy in this swimming pool.
In 15 minutes, we got chicks with their tops off. We got, they knocked the lifeguard into the pool on a stand. Like, it was crazy, but really entertaining.
Bananas. By the way, the Baby Ruth scene is really fucked up because I don't know who the woman in the middle is with the swim cap on, but she offers her Baby Ruth to a little girl who we were supposed to be like all shocked when they revealed to us it was a girl.
Right.
But she offered her to the smallest caddy. She was like, "Do you want some of this, my Baby Ruth or whatever?" And the girl gets it, and another guy wants a piece of it. So the little girl just chucks it into the pool.
Right.
It wasn't your fucking candy bar to chuck in the pool.
I wouldn't have thrown it in the pool. But they had to set up the scene, brother.
Yeah, well, then they're all going crazy, and it's not until the old waspy lady gets out there that she sees the poop in the pool.
Right. What I find interesting about that, because you think about draining a pool and then having to refill it, you know how much fucking water that is?
A lot.
For a Baby Ruth. But I do find it interesting that the poop, or the Baby Ruth, is, after she threw it in the pool, I think that this was, a creative choice, we'll say. But it stops looking like a Baby Ruth, and then they really do play up the angle of this thing looks like a fucking turd,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it stops looking candy-like, but of course then we get to see Bill Murray take a big old bite out of it later, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is funny, but my memory, this is how I know like my memory isn't as good as I think it is. Because I thought when he saw it, he like looks down at it, picks it up, smells it, and says, "It's just a Baby Ruth," and takes a bite.
Yeah.
But he never tells them it's a Baby Ruth.
No.
He says, "It'll be all right." Or it's no big deal.
It's funny. I think that might be a Nelson Mandela effect sort of thing there, because I remember him saying it was a Baby Ruth as well. Maybe there's a scene or something in it when it aired on TV that he said that, but I could have swore he said it was a Baby Ruth.
Well, there's a lot of instances of that in movies, especially like in Star Wars. Darth Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father."
Right. Yeah. You think
But
he
everyone
does.
remembers it.
Right. Yeah, I have a theory though about that, and that the reason why everybody misremembers that line is because of the movie Tommy Boy with Chris Farley. And the reason I say that is because, like, in the previews for the movie, he's like talking into the fan or whatever, and he says, "Luke, I am your father." Well, you don't have to have seen that movie. You just needed to see a preview for it. And then all of a sudden, there's like this Inception sort of thing where like that memory is implanted into your brain. So people are like, "He never said, 'Luke, I am your father.'" No, never said it. But
I was watching something not that long ago. It was with like one of those little viral video things where they had like they were showing people what they thought they remembered and what really happened. And there was several of them on there that I was guilty of too.
oh yeah.
I can't remember what the fuck they were now.
Well, there's some of them like, what was the one I saw the other day? It was for like Dollar Tree or something like that, and it showed the insignia from the company, and it was like, is it this one or is it this one? And you're like, I guess I never looked at it all that closely, actually, you know. But
Yeah, it was one of those videos.
yeah. That whole like shitting in the pool actually happened to me once at summer camp. It wasn't a Baby Ruth though. I didn't shit in the pool, but somebody did, and they had to sterilize the whole thing.
Really?
Sucks, yeah, because it was hot as hell outside. Everybody was wanting to swim, and they could not.
Dude, the pool's full of chlorine. You're all right.
I'm not taking that risk. I'm good.
Oh, I'm in there. I'll scoop it out with the net and swim on.
I guess that's something. I wrote down Carl Spackler with the rifle is the single greatest argument for gun control.
Good argument.
That dude does not need a sniper rifle. I'm sorry. Because he is a loose cannon.
He's something else, that's for sure.
Yeah. How he got plastic explosives later, I don't even want to think about.
A shitload of it, too.
A lot. Yeah, he's making Play-Doh animals with the thing, you know?
It's awesome.
Did you
He
notice?
sells hybrid grass.
Oh, yeah, that you can smoke it too.
Yeah.
Yep. I wrote down, I'd forgotten about this, but where Smales' grandson like pukes in the sunroof. It's
Oh, right.
pretty funny. Yeah.
In a
It's good
Porsche.
shit. Oh yeah. And the guy like sits down and he like you can see him just slide down the seat. It's
Ew.
fucking gross, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice Chevy Chase in that whole scene with the no? He wasn't wearing shoes?
Yes.
What the fuck, man?
He took him off at the beginning of the scene.
I don't know why though.
Because he wanted to be free, man.
I guess so. He's such a weird character. It's impossible to like nail him down, you know.
He's like a millionaire golf pro hippie.
Yeah. That must be it. His dad was like one of the founders of the golf club, I guess, or the country club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty strange,
And
man.
he dreamed of being a professional golfer, but pursued college instead.
Right. Indeed. Let's see here. What else did I jot down? Oh, the Judge Smales' jacket at that dinner party. What a
yeah.
ridiculous fucking bullshit jacket, man. I love it.
He tells us how he got it. I can't even remember what it was.
It's something. And then Rodney Dangerfield just shits all over him for it. Pretty funny.
Rodney Dangerfield's, the whole purpose of him in this movie is to shit on Smelt.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
That's all he does.
That whole scene with it's your basic Cinderella story, you know, all that shit. I guess that was conceived out of the mind of Bill Murray. That wasn't in the script. He just ad-libbed it. Which is great.
What?
Pretty hilarious. The whole scene where Carl Spackler, he's got that club and he's smacking the flowers. Talk about, it's just your basic Cinderella story, all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's hitting the mums.
Yeah.
Why was he doing that?
He's an idiot. As is everybody in this fucking movie. But it was really funny, though. Oh, man.
The judge's house, after, was his name Danny, right?
Yeah.
Danny gets done fucking the judge's niece.
Right.
Which was a really strange scene, by the way.
Pretty strange. There's a lot of weird shit going on there.
But then he, like, when he gets caught, he runs into the bathroom where the judge's wife is showering.
Right.
And they, like, check each other out.
Yeah. Shoot you a little smile. That sort of thing. I thought that whole thing was kind of just bizarre. Because, so Danny, you get the impression that he's got things going on with this gal, Maggie O'Hooligan.
Yeah, what is up with that?
Yeah, and so then he bangs out Lacey, but there's never any discussion about that, never any resolution to that. They just go on down the road. I don't know if they were just like casual fuck buddies, but whenever she thought she was pregnant, he offered to marry her. So that's pretty weird.
Yeah, Maggie's a strange one. Because she's obviously a little hoe herself.
Right.
Because she tells him that it may not even be his kid.
Exactly.
So
Which,
maybe
whatever you want to
there's
do.
no,
but yeah.
yeah, no, that's fine. But apparently there's just no strings attached in this little community. Like, you can fuck whoever you want.
Right. Well, and then there was that one guy that looked like Chachi or whatever that was super pissed that Danny was like nailing Maggie. I'm like, I'm sure you'll have a chance, you know. But
Yeah, he was weirdo too.
yeah, there was never any resolution with his character at all. Just whatever.
Just there.
Yeah,
A lot of the people are kind of just there.
just there.
Look, we're talking a lot. Basically, it's a funny movie where
Right.
you get to see Rodney Dangerfield showcase his shit. You get to watch Bill Murray showcase the character. And that's about it.
Yeah. There was another part that I was misremembering. For whatever reason, toward the end, whenever we see Smale's grandkid like pick his nose, his grandson's like picking his nose, and they're betting on whether or not he's gonna eat it and all that shit.
Uh-huh.
For whatever reason, I was thinking that, like in my mind, I had it set up that there was like a troop of Boy Scouts running around, but it was just all the caddies instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I remembered that differently, but
Because they're all wearing red hats. Fucked with you.
yeah, maybe that is it.
Khaki shirts and red hats. They do kind of look Boy Scoutish.
They do a little bit, yeah. This Maggie character, Maggie O'Hooligan, I'm gonna keep saying her name because it's fucking hilarious. But she's not Irish at all, which I thought was interesting. So she's born in like Michigan or some shit. I looked it up.
For real?
Yeah.
So what the fuck is up with the Irish accent? Like, who decided that character needed an Irish accent?
That's exactly my thought. Like, her being Irish doesn't factor into the movie at all, except the last name of O'Hooligan.
Oh, I got something interesting for you.
Let's hear it.
The opening scene in the Danny's house.
Yeah.
How many fucking kids are in there?
Man, talk about... I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And we never
'cause-
see them again.
No, you never see... I think you see Danny's parents like a couple times. But there's like 10 kids at least running around this house.
Oh, you're undershooting that by at least a dozen.
I think so. It was weird. And what was it? At one point, like Danny's sister, she's like standing in her underwear, like yelling at him about like how she's gonna use the bathroom first or whatever.
No, you think you're so cool.
Yeah, that's what it was. Then we get to the part where Danny has to like climb the ladder to get out of his apartment, I guess.
I don't know. It's really weird.
He's got a strange home life, but that's okay.
College fund is in a mason jar.
Right,
Or
right.
cookie jar.
Was that for his college?
Yeah, it said college fund on it.
Oh, okay. Because I know that Dad was like, put the money in the jar. And that was it. So I didn't know if Dad was like skimming off the top with him or what. But
All I was thinking about the whole time was like, where's the Army recruiter in Boca Raton, Florida?
that's true. This movie actually doesn't take place in Boca Raton, even though that's where we're broadcasting live from. Believe it or not.
This movie takes place in Boca Raton, Florida.
It might. That might be where they filmed it. But according to what is on the Wikipedias, it says here that the upscale Bushwood Country Club in Nebraska. So
That makes way more sense because he was going to go to college in Wisconsin.
Right.
But what doesn't make sense is the ocean.
Right. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. One thing I thought was funny that I, for whatever reason, had never thought about up until the viewing this time was whenever we see the gopher at the end of the movie, I'm sitting back thinking like, oh man, that sucks that Bill Murray still didn't kill that gopher. It never occurred to me all the damage that he has done to that golf course. It's just craters everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, he really screwed that place up, man.
The big match at the end of the movie, the loss by Judge Smelt, that would have been the least of his concerns.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's looking at a lot of damage to that place. I noticed that Carl, at one point, he was talking about how he could kill Judge Smales for Ty Webb's character. And you look at this knife that he has, and this thing's been sharpened down to nothing.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
It's more like a prison shank.
Yeah, it looked like a shiv. You bet. I wrote
What's
down
the difference between a shank and a shiv?
The vernacular, I suppose.
There's no physical difference?
I don't think so.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know. I have some people I can ask in prison, I guess.
Yeah, you know someone.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That whole teen pregnancy subplot, that kind of came and went like a fart in the wind, didn't it?
Yeah. Do they all live on the golf course?
I have no idea, man. It's a good question. It seems like
she's
it
dancing
sometimes.
in her nightgown, on the greens.
Yeah.
When she reveals that she's not pregnant.
Right. But this is something that I will say in regard to this movie is that I think that if you think at all about the plot of the movie, you're probably putting more thought into it than the writers of the movie did. That's not the point of this movie at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're making fun of rich people, basically.
Basically.
They got a doctor on there with the beeper that never does doctor work.
Yeah, Dr. Beeper.
And they have a priest on there who curses God, and then God strikes dead, I guess.
Yeah. I do like with Dr. Beeper how he goes swimming with his beeper, and then it starts going off, and he picks it up to look at it, and it fucking fries his ass.
Yeah. And he physically uses. He looks at his hand and uses his other hand to throw it out of his hand.
Right.
Pretty ridiculous.
Pretty stupid. I just wrote down that Bill Murray is a national treasure. So
yes,
that.
That is going to be a very sad day when he leaves us.
Oh God, I don't want to think about it. Speaking of Bill Murray, have you seen any of this new stuff about this new Ghostbusters they're doing?
No.
Yeah, I guess they announced that there's a new Ghostbusters coming out next year, featuring what's left of the original cast.
Who's dead?
Harold Ramis. So Spangler is out. But we should still have, because obviously Dan Aykroyd's still running around screaming to the heavens about aliens and whatnot. We got Bill Murray still, and then we got, what's his name, Winston. So there's still, 3/4. That's all right. But apparently,
Annie Potts is still around.
Yeah, she's alive and well. I'd love to see old what's his name come out of retirement. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis, yeah, him come out.
Oh, Sigourney Weaver's still with us too.
Oh yeah, yeah. She does a lot of stuff, actually.
So I wonder, like, if those people are going to be, or if it's just going to be the core Ghostbusters back.
I hope it's everybody.
Me too.
But, yeah. Apparently, I guess Leslie Jones, who is in the 2014 Ghostbusters, is that when that came out? It was 14.
Somewhere on the all-female Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I guess she came out on Twitter. She was pretty mad that there's another male-driven Ghostbusters, but the female cast isn't getting a sequel. That's because your movie wasn't very good. I'm afraid.
Sorry.
Yeah, we don't fund garbage. Did you watch that new Ghostbusters with Melissa McCarthy and all them in it?
I think I did.
Kristen Wiig shows up and Leslie Jones and whatever. I watched it. I wasn't impressed.
I think I watched it.
Yeah, I watched it for free. Still felt like I got ripped off. So, meh.
Are we done talking about Caddyshack?
We could. I mean, I kind of went over all that I had to say about it. For
The
being
bottom line,
honest.
funny movie.
Yeah. This movie does have a legacy of being up there with some of the comedy greats like Airplane and all that. How well do you think it holds up today, Mike?
It holds up really well.
I think so. I think it's pretty funny. This is it's a short watch too. I went through and was watching it, and I mean, you know, an hour and a half goes by pretty quick. So
yeah, I thought it was more like 120.
Yeah, it's a fast one. But so yeah, go watch Caddyshack. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't think it's streaming on any of your major streaming resources right now. But if you're resourceful, such as myself, you can find a copy. We'll say. So. But so there's that.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you watch anything this week, Mike?
I did.
You mentioned something earlier.
I did. Oh, Angels in the Outfield.
Right.
Yeah, I watched that. Farrah wasn't as into it as I thought she was going to be.
That's good.
Let's see what else. Oh, Meet the Parents.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's seen that.
Yeah.
I like that one, and I like Meet the Fockers. I thought that was pretty funny.
We watched part of that too.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Dustin Hoffman though. So. Yeah, no.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, how was that?
Eerily good.
Really? I thought
it's so eerie because the guy who plays Freddie Mercury, like I know what he looks like normally.
Right.
But as Freddie Mercury, you lose him. He just becomes Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, he looks identical to Freddie Mercury, in my opinion. I know that the guy that got to direct this movie is Bryan Singer, and he is known for directing the X-Men movies, most of them anyway. And so, but it's good to see him do something that's not comic book related. He's not a
really
one-trick pony. Yeah. So, yeah, I've heard good things. Might have to check it out at some point. There's actually on the... Well, I was going through. I actually last night started the... they have a pretty good copy of it on the Fire Stick, but that's that Bumblebee movie. But...
Oh, we went to the theater and saw that.
Yeah. I didn't end up watching it, but I've heard good things. Me and the wife, we watched a little Black Mirror last night because she hasn't seen... She's only seen like 2 episodes now of Black Mirror. So, watched some of that. Earlier this week, I was watching the movie Lost Highway. It's a David Lynch movie, and it's pretty fucking weird. But I think that's my favorite of his movies because it's pretty out there, man. But if you haven't seen David Lynch, he does the Twin Peaks TV show, and one of his more popular movies was Blue Velvet back in the day with Kyle MacLachlan. So he's pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, pretty different. That movie had what's his name in it? There was Koopa on the Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't remember his name now. He's in Speed.
How random.
Yeah. Dennis something. Anyway, whatever. That's the pain meds for you. Let's see. I don't know that I watched much else this week, man. It's been a crazy week, you know. Not
Yeah.
too much.
Having your own nuts clipped on will fuck your week up. That's for sure.
Boy, I'll tell you, that was unpleasant. And not to elaborate too much, but I told the wife if that was like an ongoing, like they say that was step 1 of that procedure, and they're like, all right, you only have 6 more treatments to go or whatever, then I would have to, question my ability to withstand, because I did not like that. But
Well, I'll tell you, don't ever get a reversal.
man, yeah, you were saying that sucks.
Yeah, full disclosure to the listeners out there, I've had a vasectomy and a reverse vasectomy.
Right.
And the reversal, my downtime was significantly longer.
Yep. If any of you guys want pictures, just let us know and we can shoot that email out to you. So
Of your testicles being cut on?
Mine or yours, really, either one. So.
Oh, mine are beautiful. They build up quite nicely.
Looks like a brain. That's funny. I really kind of feel bad because we didn't talk that much about Caddyshack, but, especially considering it was requested. But, I mean, what else is there to say? It's a good movie. It's really funny.
I like how they used the Jaws theme when Baby Ruth was in the pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. And I didn't notice this initially, but the stupid Judge Smales makes this racist joke to the priest or whatever, pretty much insulting everybody because it's a joke about, the Pope and whatever, and a black guy, and all this other crap. And so it was right before that. He asked this black guy there to, like, buff all the wax off of his shoes. And the black guy's like, yeah, I'll fix you, motherfucker, like that. And you see him, like, holding his shoes up to this grinder, just beating the hell out of them things,
Yeah, there's metal, like, flying.
Yeah, like sparks are shooting out. It was really funny, but I liked it. I wish I could have seen the shoes when he was done with them, but
Oh, there weren't any shoes left, I'm sure.
oh yeah. But I don't know. Go watch Caddyshack, even though I already said it. It's funny. If you like Bill Murray, it's your cup of tea. So
Smells like varmint poontang.
We had talked about how this is kind of a long ongoing thing, but technically this should have been the second week of Varsity Blues. And so Varsity Blues only had 2 weeks, I'm afraid. Do you have any idea? I could give you 1,000 guesses and you would have no idea what we're watching next week, actually.
Give me a hint.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Hold on. I know this movie.
Oh, here we go.
Movie. I know. Hold on. She's All That?
Oh, I cannot believe you nailed it.
Did I get it right?
Pretty good. Yeah. No, She's All That. That's it. It's good shit right there.
Nope. Have you ever watched The Goldbergs?
Nope. I know it's about the 80s, and I like the 80s, but I haven't watched it.
Well, in The Goldbergs, I guess there's a spinoff.
Of the Goldbergs?
Yeah. It just started this week. It was like its first time ever out there.
Oh, okay.
And I guess where they're at now is 99, because this episode of this is a premiere episode of this new show. We don't watch this show like the Goldbergs, but if there's nothing else we're watching, it's just on the TV a lot of the time.
Right.
And they mentioned She's All That like 3 times in the premiere episode of this TV show that it was on this week.
Really?
Yes.
It's pretty weird, but okay.
The teacher, She's All That on a student.
Oh, so you haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what a She's All That is.
Oh, well, glad I didn't.
Aside from like gussying her up, I remember. Is that the movie where like she takes she gets all dudded up or whatever, and then takes the long stroll down the stairs in slow motion and all that shit?
Well, that happened a lot in those movies back then.
It did.
Like
yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt has a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few different. It was a pretty common thing during that time of movies for the teen movies.
Yeah. Because they talk about it in Not Another Teen Movie, but she lives in like a piece of crap house and like the stairs collapse or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Actually, made me think about something I was thinking about while I was watching Caddyshack.
What's that?
Before the teen movies came out with the teen like rom-coms like thing,
Right.
the funny movies that were on TV back in the day were made for adult audiences.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of back in the day that was maybe a substitute for all that late 90s, high school teen romance thing was you can make the argument of, maybe like
John
16
Hughes.
Candles. Yeah, exactly. The John Hughes shit. Even like,
You're right.
Weird Science to a certain degree, but definitely The Breakfast Club I could see,
Right.
maybe St. Elmo's Fire, stuff like that. So, but even those, I think a lot were more focused on making adults laugh, But I don't know. I mean, I saw 16 Candles when I was in my early 20s, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I was pretty close to being a teen. So, whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
I gotta say, I'm just gonna put myself on blast right now. I would not consider myself a Freddie Prinze Jr. fan. So,
Oh, how dare you, sir?
does that really bother you, Mike? Or
No.
okay? Because I think probably one of the only things I've seen him in was that shitty Scooby Doo thing, and I wasn't impressed then. So we'll see. See how
I know
that
his
plays
dad
out.
ran with Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah, one of the Rat Pack, I guess.
I don't know if he was in the Rat Pack, but his name was Freddie Prinze, obviously, and he was a singer.
Right. I know him and Sarah Michelle Gellar are still married. So
They are?
Yeah.
What?
It's been a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah, like 15 or more years. Probably close to 20 years now. Because I think they got married right around the time Scooby-Doo came out. So,
Married Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah. I always thought she was good looking. She's a pretty girl. But
All right, we're just rambling now.
yeah, pretty much. So this movie, like we said, was a request. If you guys have any more requests of any ideas of movies that you would like to do, like for us to do at least, you can always email us that request at cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can put something up on Facebook at Casino Royale with Cheese, all separate words. Feel free to look us up on iTunes, YouTube, Instagram, Casino Royale W Cheese, and give us those positive reviews when you do so. And make sure you don't have to make sure you check us out on Twitter because we don't do anything on there anyway, but it's Casino Royale WCH for all those that are super curious. And I don't know that I have anything else, brother.
I got nothing for you.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you hit us up next week whenever we watch She's All That, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
I'll be back.